morning, everybody! What's up? Yes, I know I didn't do the new intro. I'm tired of getting copyrighted on my channel. I'm sorry. I'm gonna fix that. How's everyone doing? We have Roman in the chat. What is up, Roman? We have got Bob. Or Boba, I know. Oh, goodness. What is up, Late Art? How are you doing this lovely morning? How's everyone doing? How are you doing, Ark?
I am doing well. How are you, Mando?
I am scared because I did everything that I could yesterday to stay off social media.
You
I
did.
have not watched the trailer. I was only shown an image of something because a friend of mine didn't know that I was staying off social media. So I don't know what in the world's going on.
I'm gonna love this. Your reaction is going to be priceless. Oh, it's
What
gonna be
is
so
up,
good.
Jacob?
What's going
Bob
on,
is my
Jacob?
favorite nickname. Yes. Good morning, Vardarnia. I got it.
Vardariana.
Vardariana, darn it. I thought I had it.
I think you had it. I might have gotten it wrong. I don't know. But it's good to see you, Var.
Yes, it's good to see you. All right, I'm good. How are you? What is up, Roto Kamish? How are you doing today? How are you doing? If I am out of practice, guys, it's because I am. This week I just kind of stayed off from streaming and just kind of chilled, got my house cleaned for the most part, finally. And just kind of took a
Nice
mental
little
break.
Nice
Yes.
little break. Mm-hmm,
But I will be back in the fray either Monday or Tuesday. I have not decided if I'm going to stream just one of those days or both of those days or just on Tuesday. We'll find out because lots of things are going to be changing. Big announcements coming out soon. Excited,
Ooh.
much excitement. One of the announcements is bittersweet, and some of you know what that announcement is, but much love channel, both my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel. There's going to be lots of big changes happening, and I am so excited, and it's going to be great and amazing. Let's see. Wait till you hear how they pronounce Galette. My God.
No. Don't fret. Don't fret. It could have been worse.
You know what? This is what I'm gonna do.
I love it. Perfect.
Ah!
All right.
Man.
I to preface this, I watched it silent the first time because I didn't want to hear them speak. I was just thinking, no, I don't want to hear you speak. I am not. I think I might watch the first episode completely quiet as well. Oof. And the second time I watched it, oh, it was so bad. And then I reviewed it last night on stream. I talked about it for like a solid hour. I was just pausing, going back. It was so bad. It was so bad. But I am going to be a little bit quieter. I want you to speak on it. I want you to give your thoughts, and then I'll just chime in every once in a while. There's one thing I want to point out that I actually enjoyed. One thing. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But take it away, Mando. This is all you.
Jacob Ironside says, "You have no power here, Benzos Amazon." Yes. Tell him. Smile a while for me. What is up, Sarah? Just checking in and saying good morning before I go work on some projects with my dad. Hopefully your dad is doing better. Her dad had a accident where he fractured his back, so hopefully on the road to recovery. Let me see. First time I watched it, didn't even see the freaking all right, to be fair, my head hurts this morning. Someone got into Gaffer's homebrew. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, guys. Let's see. Oh, Wicked Virtue. Hello. What is up? The chat jumped on me. I'm sorry. It's not that I was ignoring you. Hello, dear.
It did.
I didn't even realize the chat jumped. I'm sorry, guys. What is up, Jeremy Swigs? Hello, ladies, and that includes Ark. Oh my God. Oh man, there's a power up
Jeremy
my haze of
Swigs.
anger.
Yeah.
Oh man, but before I do, speaking of coffee, which I do have my beautiful morning brew.
Mm-hmm.
And I never do this on my YouTube channel, and I'm so sorry. But if you like coffee and tea and you like playing D&D, like Geek Grind Coffee, y'all, the place to be getting your coffee. And I am an affiliate with them. There should be a link in the description down below on my LinkTree to my link for their page. If you like coffee and tea, please. They are supporters of Nerdrotic, and I am also affiliated with them. Please, 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 if you like coffee and tea, go to that link down below. All right, let us share this abomination. I hope my computer doesn't break.
Oh, it's gonna be cursed after this.
Oh my god, it's already cursed. Lord have mercy. Bless my soul. Oh my gosh. Also, I'm good. How are you guys? I am doing well, Wicked Virtue. I'm sorry I missed your stream yesterday, but I'm sure it was amazing and awesome as you are. It's soul sister.
Jeremy Swiggs is correct. I am.
Soul sister.
I wasn't the one to come up with the name change. I was fine with it, but
I figured literary souls, more people have souls than sisters, so Bob likes tea and coffee. Yeah, they have great teas, very much 80s or D&D themed, really good brews. I've had the majority of them. They are lovely and amazing. With Virtue, with the hearts, I love you, dear. Coffee, I need coffee. Yes, I always need coffee. Coffee.
Cafefe?
I'm like so nervous about it. Okay.
It's okay. We just gotta dive into it. You gotta prepare yourself.
Here we go. Let me make sure everyone can hear.
Are you sharing the audio?
I am sharing the audio, so
right.
Let me know if I need to adjust the audio settings when we do this. Here we go. What? It's not playing.
You're not sharing the audio, Amanda. What?
I thought it was. Sorry. Jeez. No, I have it muted. Oh my gosh. I told y'all I'm struggling today. I'm on the struggle bus. Okay, here we go. Take two. Here we go. All right, and go. There we go.
We thought the war at last.
Okay, we didn't need that. We didn't need that. Who needs that as their opening? Sorry. Okay.
Bunch of elves dying, just like sets the tone.
Yeah, it sets
the tone that the elves are gonna get their asses whooped.
Again, like they always. For those of you who don't know Tolkien's Legendarium, the elves don't really win that often. Okay, just like
they really don't. They're very foolhardy in a way.
Butts kicked a lot,
but they're tenacious. That's what counts.
I think Celeborn is in the trailer.
I didn't see Celeborn, but we'll have to just pay attention this time around.
Hey, our days of peace begin.
Oh, okay. Days of peace. Cool.
We thought our joys would be.
So I want to point out that is Celebrimbor, center right. That is Elvish Elrond. I like that, Elvish instead of.
And then there's during the
fourth. The fourth, something like that.
I think that's during the third, and during the fourth is going to become king during this time.
And then you got Gil-galad being angry Caesar.
Galadriel's building playing with Elfhead's Middle Earth Legos. Oh my god! Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. Okay.
Be unending. We thought our light would never dim.
Okay, so I'm assuming Numenor.
Are strange.
The skies are strange.
Okay, so they're compressing.
Color.
They're compressing 2,000 minimum years into like just a few years, so I can. So they get there. So they're gonna end on the War of Wrath, and that's where. Okay, cool. Okay, I have lots of thoughts. Meteor Man.
That wonderful interspecies couple.
Oh, Palantiri.
Yeah, Palantir.
Oh,
And Galadriel freely
oh.
put her hand on it.
Well, this should have been before.
This
This
was
should have been
before. This was
they got
before they were
corrupted.
but like Amazon,
It doesn't. They don't look
you
uncorrupted.
you know that they're gonna go ahead and corrupt them. You know somebody's peeking in there.
Those helmets would be reused. Yes, especially like if they're going based off of the Hellenistic period of Greece and Rome, those helmets would have been reused by other soldiers.
Yes,
But hey,
or melted down and then remade.
yes, skies and all other things are strange. It reminds me of Stranger Things. I think I'd rather watch that than this. Anyway, yes, deep breaths. Woosa. Lots of
Woosah.
thoughts. Epic lore breaking in this scene. Yes, she did. It never says in any lore ever that she touched this.
So there's a Palantir. Well, of course there were Palantir on Numenor, yes, but that means that Galadriel is definitely on Numenor, and that she is speaking to the royalty of Numenor. There weren't a whole lot of elves. I don't even think there was mention of any elf on Numenor. I know they were friendly with the Elven kingdoms. But
The only time that elves set foot on Numenor was when dude who was a seafarer who needed to have marriage therapy, when he got married, Gil-galad and some others of the elves came to
yes,
Numenor.
I think that's the only time. Yes, but like there wouldn't have been any need for any other elf to show up. That was for a special occasion.
Yes. Morning, how are you, Elijah?
Morning, Alasia.
Did you hear how they pronounce Galadriel?
We're about to.
But she never touched it and has no record of her ever touching. Anyway. That's a lie.
Go back.
A lie.
I just saw something. I think that's what I believe that's what Jacob was talking about. Go back to where she's crying. Yeah, just go back to where they unveil the Palantir.
Right there?
No, keep going. Pause.
Oh. Ah!
The body. Look at the body. Gotta be quick. I bet you that's Celeborn. I bet you that's Celeborn.
That looks like
just
Steve
noticed
Rogers.
that.
It looks like Captain America.
That's an elf, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the pointy ears.
Okay. Let's read the things. Yeah, elves are on Numenor for Toll Arrested. I'm good, gonna lurk, but I'm here. Awesome. Thank you so much for the lurk. I appreciate it. Gonna see me lose my mind. This is my first time seeing this trailer, Elijah, by the way. They were visiting in the beginning of okay, yeah. So so there are two times I remember it being recorded where elves came to Numenor. It was when the island first was being inhabited. The elves brought gifts and different things to Numenor, so that way the Numenorians can inhabit it, have things, inhabit it, and there was supposed to be a friendship there. And then the marriage of
and there legitimately was, yes.
and
And there still was a legitimate friendship
Mm-hmm.
at the marriage ceremony.
Yes. He looks plastic.
Yes, he does. He looks not just that's so stupid.
Hello, Charlie. He has Lady Thor.
Very accurate. Very accurate.
Gary said it was her brother. Okay, so the elf that we saw being carried away, okay, so that's who we think this is.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, half a dozen
Captain
to one.
Elf.
It's Captain Elf. Oh my gosh.
We need somewhere in the background the
well,
Captain
that makes
America
it
shield.
even worse. That makes it even worse because it would have been nice if that was Celeborn, because then she would have actually had a legitimate reason to be sad. I mean, come on. Oh my gosh.
Oops, I didn't mean to right click. But There's the fabled dagger. The dagger. Okay, cool. Oh, I remember them having a plot leak about the reason that they're going back to certain places so she can get this dagger from her brother's grave. Ah, that makes sense. Cool. No more pausing, or no more long talk. Sorry.
Lies.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
There's the
White tree.
yeah, the tree. Who are you?
Probably. Now that I've rewatched it a couple times, it
I think
looks.
that's Sauron.
No, I doubt that is Sauron. I bet you that's one of his high priests of Melkor.
Okay. Okay.
But that's also me giving them the benefit of the doubt of actually caring about the lore. Continue.
It waits.
What? No. What is no? What are you? Have we gone back to the early 90s? This is like
Frosted
classic
Chips.
Backstreet Boys. What's the other band that I always forget? Nickelback. It's NSYNC. Looks like he could be in a boy band.
Eminem.
Yeah, it looks like. Okay, continue. What is up, Cajun? Yeah, more people. Eminem. Yep.
And it waits.
Dwarves. The dwarves looked on point.
To bury us all
Pause it.
beneath the mountain.
Go back to that room.
This one.
Look how crappy those pillars look. Those
They
look like
look
they're
like-
made from paper mache. They look like they're made from polyurethane. That
that
set looks
foam.
horrible.
Like
the foam.
the foam.
That was all.
Road, this looks bad.
It really
Road
does.
would know
Road.
because he's an artist. He knows that. That. Dude looks like the bad guy from the latest Thor. I guess Eminem is just a bad guy now. I'm sorry, you know that Eminem look is. Oh my god. Oh, did I miss? Oh, it's okay. Okay, cool. Will the real Sauron please stand up? Okay, nope. Okay,
Nope.
So
We're not doing that.
So this
Copyright
is during
strike.
this is during the
The
third, and then so the other one is during the fourth. Okay, that was my confusion. Stop right clicking. There we go.
To bury us all beneath the mountain.
Cheeto. Dorito Cheeto.
Okay.
He has not one name, but many.
The heck?
Okay, so that is the power of ice. Ooh, scary.
He has many names. Is she talking about Melkor? Or is she talking about Sauron? Because Sauron's not the one who did all that to her kin. It's not Sauron.
But I did enjoy how they're trying to bring like the magical power of bless you. I did enjoy how they tried to bring the magical power of frost and fire to the enemy side because they legitimately had those powers. The Witch King of Angmar, then you
Right.
had Sauron and Melkor himself. Like they all had the power of frost. So that was a nice touch. They're not going to do it right though.
Right.
I'm going to be quiet now.
Eminem should sue. Can't stay long mowing the yard right now. I understand that. Have fun, as much fun as you can. It's a Cheeto factory explosion. What is up, Shieldwall? Hello, gonna be lurking, but I am listening. Got to drive to Amarillo. Oh, okay, cool. Have a safe and pleasant
Drive
trip.
safely.
Sorry, guys, I'm allergic to bad content. Okay. Why are we having a picture of a trident? Anyway. Oh, God.
Heard of him, lad?
The heck?
Heard of Sauron?
Oh, my God. Who are you? Oh, my God. So they're making Sauron the big bad again. But during this time, Sauron wasn't the main baddie. I don't understand.
Like when in the island of Numenor, neither was Melkor because Melkor was taken away at the end of the
War
the
of
the
Wrath, yeah.
sundering of the Balerion. Like when Balerion sunk, that's when Melkor went away, and
Yeah.
Sauron, his power was broken. There were no ring wraiths at that time. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, because the ring wraiths are like some of them are lords of Numenor. Like
It was
the
literally a time of peace and quiet for the most part. They like you did have Sauron doing his little thing with like the
he was.
intrigue and the
Mhm.
propaganda and the sacrifices. Yes, that is there. He has always been there, but he was not prevalent. His orcs were slaughtering elves and men, but also getting slaughtered, and they were
Yeah.
mainly hiding in the mountains.
Yeah, they were Sauron and all of his forces right after the War of Wrath. Sauron considered turning himself into to the Maiar, no, to
The Valar.
the Valar. But he decided that he didn't want that kind of shame on him, and so he decided to turn tail and run like the coward that he is. He like it took him thousands of years to regain a semblance of the army that he once controlled when he was a lieutenant
Uh-huh.
of Melkor. You know what? It's
But
okay.
here, okay, I got one thing to say. I really like how the forces of the Valar and the forces of Melkor were almost equal strength. They had
Mhm.
great wars, and then as the armies were diminished on both sides, they basically stayed at the same power level all the way through. They just kept chipping away, chipping away, chipping away
Mhm.
at each other, and it's the same here. Like
Mhm.
Sauron, when he built his army at the War of the Last Alliance, the War of
Mhm.
the Last Alliance, the elves and humans, if it was just the elves would have gotten slaughtered. If it was just
Absolutely.
the humans would have gotten slaughtered. The dwarves
Absolutely.
would have been demolished.
Mhm.
So they had to join forces just to fight Sauron, who was the highest lieutenant, the second in command to Melkor, and his orcs and trolls. So, like, I know that Gary loves to like say that Melkor was so much stronger and so much more powerful than Sauron. Yes, because he was a Ainur. He was not a Maiar. He twisted Sauron's mind to
Mhm.
join him. Sauron did freely join him. Yes, as
Mhm.
a quote unquote fallen angel, but also Melkor was the fallen angel, the first one.
Mhm.
Um, so it's always like you got the power level. Like I just think of anime where the power creep, where you always get
Right.
stronger. This is the opposite. Everything is getting worn down over
Mhm.
thousands of years, and that's
Yes.
all I wanted to say.
Sorry. Hello, Don. Sorry for this is a weird frame to stop at. My apologies.
And I have no idea what this creature is. None.
Probably an orc or something. My friend in the East and South would disagree with Second Age was a wartime for them. We struggled a lot while you enjoyed your precious island. Yes, the Second Age was not a time of peace. For Sauron is over 9,000. Sorry, I had to. Okay, continue. Yeah, it's an orc.
That
Or
could
a
be an orc.
goblin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's all. That's creep vibes. Who are you?
I don't know, but it's like a young
Who
Pedro
is
Pascal.
this? Okay,
I'm
continue.
gonna call him Pedro from now on.
Who are you? Oh my god. Really? Really?
The evil rising.
Based on the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, The Legend That Forged the Rings. That's what those title cards say if you just read them out. So the legend that forged the rings is Celebrimbor, right?
Yeah.
So this show should be about Celebrimbor. Is he going
It
to be the surprise main character,
should be.
or
Not
was
it's
Galadriel a strong whammon that was also a legendary smith? Like,
it's a lightsaber. Yep. The most fancy name ever.
Theo.
So from what I heard, that should be
Oh no, Bobin, please no.
if that is Turin mentioned in the appendices? I don't remember.
He could be. He could be like, but here's the thing. This is how they're going to justify it. All that has to be there is just his name.
That is true. But the thing is, his sword was sentient, but his sword was broken because he kind of eat himself because he had a sister wife and didn't know it. For those of you who've been watching, the previous Literary Soul Sisters with Elijah and I, like we talked about, this guy needed some help. That whole family needed help. If this is Turin's sword, there's no mention of it ever being used or anything after. Like, it was buried with him when he died.
And his body should be at the bottom of an ocean right now, correct?
Not Turin's. Turin's was buried near Glauron's grave, or near where Glauron died, if I remember correctly.
And he's probably going to be one of those islands that's just poking out of the water.
Who knows? Galadriel Skywalker is the last.
I love it. Galadriel Skywalker. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
It's left unchecked. It will take us all.
What is that symbol? What is going on?
Find the light, and the shadow will not find.
That's a big baddie. I kind of like this shot as well. But what are your thoughts?
The gauntlets okay. I think the that helmet though.
Oh wait until the next frame.
Okay. Oh, that's
Together we can survive this.
What?
Fight with me.
There's so much to unwrap in that 5 seconds.
We're gonna power through. We're powering through. Oh, wonderful!
Each of us
Oh my God,
must
who's the
decide
baby?
who we shall be.
What? What? Okay. Oh my God! What? Hi, Mom. Or no, wrong one. Hi, Elijah's mom.
Don Lemon.
Oh my God.
There can be no trust between hammer and rock.
What?
Eventually, one of the
Oh
other.
no! Stop. Go back to 2:15. All right, now you gotta be quick.
Back?
Yep, right there. You gotta be quick. Press play and then pause. Look at the dwarf right behind him. I like that. No.
His
Look at
beard
the-
has armor.
I know his beard has armor, but look at the death mask. That is actually Tolkien
Yes.
mentions those things.
Yes, he did. That's part of the reason why the orcs ran away.
Yep.
Is because they saw these awesome things.
Now, maybe if the beard didn't have armor to completely constrict his neck, that would be cool. But I do like the mask.
It's cool.
There was somebody that was in working for Amazon that really liked dwarves. Because the dwarves are the only thing that looked cool in all of the teasers that we've seen.
The water creature gives me Narnia vibes. Well, it should, because the person who's the art director for Narnia is working on this project. Turn the camera on so we can see your red face. Not the beard. Yes, the beard gets armor.
I don't have the capacity to turn a camera on because I don't own a camera and my monitors don't have built-in cameras. I mean that's the truth.
No worries. I'm not worried about it.
I can send you the specs.
The other must surely break.
Hold up! I want to see that. Hold up! I want to see that thing again. Let me see it. Can I?
Break.
No. Oh. That's a face only a mother could love. I bet you that's one of the female orcs.
Probably.
Ah! Wow, ladies. I feel seen. I feel heard. I feel important.
Oh, don't you just love the representation?
The representation. You is smart. You is kind.
You is important. Okay, real quick. I just did a Control F and searched Turin. On the Lord of the Rings ebook that I have, Turin is mentioned twice. The first time he is mentioned, it is in Appendix A, I think. Appendix A, Annals of the King. I think it's like chapter 10 or something like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's not though elf or dwarf should forge the steel, or the hand of Baron or of
Mhm.
Turin wield it. So his name is mentioned with Baron. So I assume that is the second age Turin, and then Turin the First is a ruling steward. That's the
No,
only
no,
time that
so
Turin is.
Turin is in the fall of Gondolin, and the fall of Gondolin does not happen until the close to the War of Wrath. This is a first age story, not a
Oh,
second.
first age. Okay, all right. So I got my ages mixed up. There's so much timeline errors that are happening
I
that it's
want to
messing
speak
with
to the
my
Valar
mind.
manager.
But yes, so that would be that's the only mention of the Turin bar that we know. The
Oh no, that's a
Yeah.
first age story. It's okay. It's okay. Let's continue. The heck?
he's back. He's blowing you a kiss, Mando. You gonna catch it?
No, I'm gonna ninja dodge. Oh, very, very strong Eminem. Eminem should sue. Okay, continue. Oh, it's a leaf. The leaf pinned it from the elves. Oh, look at the callback. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
I have been told many lies of Middle-earth.
The heck? Okay. Hey, Eminem appears.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are we looking at here? What are we looking at? Oh, okay.
Now we know that he is taken in by a horde of orcs.
Yes.
That is how he gets stolen. That's how he gets thrown into the pit. That's how he gets chained up. And that was a bunch of orcs grabbing him. That is very similar to the 1977 Hobbit film, where the dwarves get taken by the goblins of Goblin Town. I think that's what I'm going with here.
Bob said check for Girthing. That was the name of his sword. What is
Mhm.
up? How you doing today? Creative blue collar guy. We're looking at this new trailer. Giving me a heart attack. Oh my god. Is this it? Okay.
That's it.
I'm done. I'm just God. Hold on. Of course, we have Hobbit of Color. It's gonna be really dark, so we don't notice the bad CGI. Yup, Jacob. Yup. I want to see the sword. Hold on.
Yes, right around there.
If you heard of Sauron,
Okay. Maybe go a little bit further.
Not too far.
See where. Okay. So.
To me, that looks like a dagger. That
Well,
does not look like a sword at all.
Well, whatever. It's lightsabers.
And that does
Yeah.
not look like an elvish sword at all. That is
it's not-
definitely Melkor in origin.
Okay, so this can't be Girthing then.
And I don't
There's-
ever remember any elvish swords like lightsabering out of smoke.
It never talked about. There's a little more at the end. Okay, so ring. Okay, so let's go forward.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's such a nothing burger that I forgot to mention that there's a Balrog at the end. Sorry. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you. I love that face. You're just like, I'm so tired of this.
That's the same Balrog we saw this before. Like there were tons of Balrogs. Like why?
Yeah.
Why?
Why are they doing this? Because they want to. They have all the money in the world to do it.
The rumor is that there was a family heirloom that they got and don't know how they got it. Not joking.
Bobin, please stop saying these things in chat. You're just you're making it worse, Bobin. You're making it worse.
They exactly replicated the Balrog from Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Art,
Because
do you
it's
want to look
probably
up
the
that
same
scene?
one.
Do you want to look up that scene?
Mhm.
I bet you they didn't even actually do any animation. I bet you they just cut it and just stuck it on there. I
Pardon
bet
me
you.
for a moment. Balrog scene. Lord
Music,
of the
yes.
Rings.
Music is terrible. I can't.
Da-da-da-da.
Let me-
Okay, so I see that it is not. Okay, so we got a 4. Yeah, let's go with the 4-minute one. Open. Okay, so
I can't
I need
cry.
to share my screen.
You can share your screen. I'll put it on here. Cry face. I'm leaving. No, Bob. I'm sorry.
Share
I'm just
screen.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I
It's
want
just-
this screen share. Okay, there we go. You see this. We're gonna just press play. Let me.
I'm glad I won't be
watch.
watching this.
All right, here we go. Let's see.
Let's take a look.
I hope that the audio is shared.
It is not.
It is not. Lovely. Stop
So when
sharing.
So when you share your screen, there is a button where you can see which screen you want to share, and it says share system audio in the bottom left
click.
corner.
There we go.
It's weird.
All right, there we go.
Yes, now we can hear it. Let's see. And then pause when we first see his face.
Okay, we're gonna. Okay, Peter Jackson, New Line Cinema. We're pausing so you don't strike us. We actually like this product.
Right. Okay, so like right there, roughly.
Okay, now
So
this. I
Okay.
think it's actually missing a horn right here. I've never really paid attention
Ah.
because I know that this one has a point. It's very
Right.
dark, but you
So
can still see it.
let's go a little bit further so we can see him lighten up. It's so dark. You can't really see. Go back to where we saw us. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, and now I will share my image again, or share my screen again.
Just boot me out. I don't know how you do it.
Share.
Boom. All right, cool.
So there's that. And there's that. Okay, yeah.
Let me see.
Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, so there's that. Hey, they fixed the point. Okay, yeah.
It is somewhat different. So this is probably going to be a different Balrog. Because I'm just noticing that the crown, like he actually has a forehead, and the other one, share your screen. It is just straight fire.
Okay.
Balrogs were individual creatures. They were
They were.
individual demigods in their own right, so they would have had their
Mhm.
own personalities. They all just really enjoyed fire, and so that's why they wreathed themselves in darkness and flame.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and I think it's stated in one of the like letters or notes or documents that Tolkien wrote or that Christopher talked about that every single Balrog was a Maiar of Aule because Aule was the forge god, which
Yep.
is fire. So it goes to show how close Melkor got with all of the Maiar and how he was able to freely turn them to his side because Saruman was a Maiar of Aule. Saruman, Sauron, and the Balrogs. All of them were.
I know people want to watch this to critique how terrible it is, but I really wish that we didn't give views or the time of day.
So this is
I'm strongly thinking, I'm strongly considering that point.
I understand completely where Jeremy's coming from. But My point is, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you have been paying for this shit show since 2017.
Yeah.
Every year that you chucked over $120, and it's now bumped up to like 130, 140, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that you have paid your fair share of the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of
Mm-hmm.
Power.
Yeah.
Sadly. And no one
Yeah.
wants to admit it. Everyone wants to say, well, I get 2-day shipping. I get a free sub on Amazon Prime for Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone says the benefits of having an Amazon Prime account, which there are benefits. I agree. But also you have to recognize that you're paying for this shit show, and you're paying for the terminal list, and you're paying
Yup.
for everything that Prime Video is doing.
Bye, Jacob. Thank you for swinging by.
Have a good one,
Appreciate you.
Jacob.
But yeah, and that is true. Like if you've had Amazon Prime at any point in time, you've paid for this, so why not already just do what you're already paying for? Which I have Amazon Prime because I read and listen to a lot of books. So that I don't have any streaming except for the Peacock box that comes free with Xfinity. Yeah, like if you don't go buy Prime for this, please
Oh,
don't.
no. Do not do that. Do
Um,
not do that. But if you've paid for your year, you might as well like you might
make
as
money off of it.
review it. Do something with it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
at least like just watch snippets here and there so you can
Mhm.
understand what we're talking about, because I'm pretty sure if we show anything like there's going to be a lot of content creators that are going to get copyright strikes because of
Mhm.
speaking their mind
Yep.
about the Rings of Prime.
Yes.
So, but I totally
And
understand where Swigs is coming from.
yeah.
If nothing happens in this first season, if it is just a complete dud, I'm going to be canceling my Amazon Prime subscription. It's just I have no interest in it. Sure, I get a Prime sub, but I spend my own money on Twitch supporting people with
Right.
subscriptions. Like it's it is
Uh,
definitely up to your own personal preference
right.
on what you want to spend your money on.
I think even or Late Art says I think even buying on Amazon has to have an impact on it, right? Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. If you've ever purchased anything on Amazon or through Amazon, you supported this.
Mhm.
And not saying good or bad, like the thing with Amazon, I don't think I think they should have stayed in their field. They should have stayed in their wheelhouse. Books, being a bookstore, that's where they are the wheelhouse, like being kind
That's
of
where they
like
got
that
big.
the red box of the online, like when they started doing stuff like that and getting into that stuff, sure, whatever. Being kind of like the eBay, the better version of eBay, whatever. This whole getting into videos, getting into the media side of things, I think they should have just stayed out of it. And here's the thing, like I'm going to give them credit where credit is due. There are some Amazon video original content things out there that are really good. They really are.
Mhm.
And that was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to I went ahead and got Amazon Prime a while back, is because one of my favorite, y'all are about to understand the depth of my nerdumness. Like I watch a show called Critical Role, Who Plays Dungeons and Dragons. They are currently working with Amazon to create an animated series based on one of their original campaigns that they did. That's awesome. They already have a first season out. It's great and fantastic, and stuff like that I want to support because it's stuff I've loved for years, and I want them to understand, like, I want this kind of content. Leave this other stuff alone. So yeah. Var, that's why I quit buying from Amazon once I saw the first trailer in February. I share my Prime with my sister, so I don't have ability, but I would. Yeah.
Mhm.
Amazon makes money selling stuff. Netflix makes money from selling subscriptions. Yep.
Mhm.
Jeremy, I don't buy off Amazon either. To sign up, they wanted my driver's license and ID, and that's too much info just to buy an
In
Alpha One
your opinion, in your state of mind, yes, that is too much info. It for millions of other people, it is not, because it is just now a way of life. It is a way
Yep.
of business. It is a way of getting product. It is a way to consume.
Mhm.
I am glad that you are one of the few that is like, nope, that's too much info. I don't want to just hand that out to a corporation that doesn't care about me. I'm happy about that. I've had my Amazon Prime account since I was like 16, 17. So they've
Mhm.
had my info forever.
Mhm. Yeah, Boba says I'm old fashioned and go to stores to buy things I need. And I do that as much as I can. Like I have like 3 or 4 bookstores within within an hour from me. If you put it within 2 hours, I have even more bookstores around that. So I try and buy from local vendors as much as possible. Unfortunately, just in the world that we live in, like
Mhm.
sometimes you have to buy things online. And I
Mhm.
try now that
Yep.
I'm more conscious of it, I try and buy things from different vendors when possible. But sometimes when you go to those other vendors, they're more expensive than Amazon or even
Yep.
Walmart. Like, and
Yep.
that's hard for a lot of people who are especially struggling right now. It's
Mhm.
hard, when you look at that Amazon
Why
price
do you
versus that
wanna
other price.
why do you wanna drive 2 hours one way to go to a bookstore that is going to be overpriced for a product that you can buy off of Walmart or Amazon or hell, even Kmart, if you have a Kmart vendor that'll ship to your
Mhm.
house, like, uh, come on, come on, people are not going to think in the way that you think, like,
Mhm.
in the way that I think, in the way that Jeremy Swiggs thinks or Bobin, like, we think one way, and
Mhm.
then there's millions of other people that think the opposite, and
Right.
that's what we're up against.
I like to go to physical stores as well, but I resubscribed to Prime during because I got sick of stores telling me to put on, yeah, and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Amazon made bank
So
during the
much money.
pandemic.
Mhm.
Like that it they were sitting on piles and they were just getting gobs of money from people during that
I
time.
forget what day it was, but it was like March 15th or something like that of 2020. That's when the entire world shut down
Mhm.
because of COVID the first time. The busiest airport was Anchorage, Alaska, and that
Mhm.
means that FedEx, UPS, Amazon, all the airlines that are freight airlines, they went through Anchorage because that is a focal point. And so they were still moving product while the rest
Mhm.
of the world was shut down. And all of that product was most likely bought either through the phone orders of businesses or they were bought online by other
Mhm.
consumers. So,
Bob says, I have everything Tim is bringing. It's a nice walk. There's chatting. Yeah, same. Like I can buy most things that I really want pretty close by. There are some things like I am still searching for physical copies of the 13 like what we're going through, the 13 histories. I can't find them at my local bookstores. I cannot. Like I have searched and searched and searched and they are nowhere to be found. I have to buy those online or have a Kindle. Like I'm using my Kindle right now or
yep.
tablet. Like Cyber Frog or Ripaverse merch. I hated myself a little bit for it, but the lesser of two evils. Yeah, yeah. You have to make those decisions. I found a book with Tolkien's essay, "The Monsters and the Critics," in an old opera house converted into a book. Records. Oh, it was like finding the Arkenstone. Heck yeah, man.
Mhm.
I admit during the coof on yeah, huge online shopping. Yeah, absolutely. Agree. And that's just what we all did. I worked in banking during that time. Oh, yes, everyone did online shopping, even those who were like, I don't like to use that newfangled online shopping. Well, you have a debit card that's been paid. You were buying stuff on Amazon. I'm sorry, tis what it is. My brother saw the mountain troll in
Oh
the first trailer
no.
and got Amazon Prime on the spot. I'm gonna disown him, I think. Oh,
You
well, that's the thing.
should.
That's the thing. Well, here's the thing. Here's what we need to understand. Here's what that this Balrog, this thing, the big shiny explosion. Ooh, ah.
And the mountain troll that's gonna be like a minor enemy, that is the eye catcher. That
That's
is what
what.
it's
Yeah.
reeling them in, hook, line, and sinker.
Think the thing that you need to understand about civilization throughout all of recorded history and oral tradition, every since the dawn of mankind, there are sheep and there are not sheep. The vast majority of humans are sheep. They're just like, ooh, shiny, ooh, I'm going to like they don't think about things. You
Nope.
really don't, and that's and unfortunately that's sad to
See,
say.
okay, highlight Jeremy's other comment that he just chatted. I like chatting with local businesses. Becoming familiar with people at stores or diners is really nice. Not many people, not many are that personable anymore. That is one type of mindset. Jeremy, you have a very unique mindset. I really enjoy it because
Yeah,
I have a similar way of thinking as you. But guess
same.
what, Jeremy? As you just admitted, not many are that personable anymore. That is the fact. That is the fact in that statement right there. Because no, people are not personable. People want to be left alone. People want to be left in their rooms or left in their houses and
Mm-hmm.
just online.
Yep. 45 minutes to Charlie's. They order a lot off the internet because they live. Yeah, if you live in the country, you order most of your stuff online.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna go ahead to and order off of Walmart and have them bag all the vegetables and all the other groceries, all like the fresh milk, the fresh eggs and bread, and then I'm gonna drive 2 hours there, pick up my stuff instead of spending another hour and a half finding it all, and then I'm gonna drive 2 hours back to my house.
Mm-hmm. And the thing, so when I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a minute because this is something that like we need to talk more about stuff like this is so when those of us who are in the fellowship who are in these different communities, yes, I know Gary doesn't like to use the word communities, but it's what people are familiar with, and we have to
Mhm,
understand that that's
mhm.
what they're familiar with.
And we have to take
Um,
that word back, by the way.
we do. The winning the culture war is you have to understand who you're trying to win over and what is the message because it's about message. Like people we talk about, oh, they have the message. We have to have a message. We have to have
We
something
cannot
to
just be
combat them.
we cannot just be contrary to the mainstream media because as much as the mainstream media likes to say they have a message, I still haven't figured out what that message is besides tearing down family values, besides tearing down um, good stories, besides perverting stories like The Wheel of Time,
Mhm.
like Tolkien, like the Halo show and the Halo lore. All they've done, and my parents don't give one damn about Halo. That was a video game that I played as a child with my brothers, and we were running around with guns killing aliens. That is
Mhm.
what my mother knows about Halo. And she doesn't care about it. And yet she has an Amazon Prime account, and she's
Mhm.
perfectly fine buying her like hobby stuff and her quilting supplies and stuff like that off of Amazon. She would love to find a small time store in my town to buy that stuff, but she just can't.
We need more stories like the Yellowstone. Yeah. So here's um I'm going to give you a perfect example of one of my normie friends who says that they say they like the Lord of the Rings. They
Mhm.
like this is coming from but they are normies, but on their wall they have the Middle Earth, a tapestry of the Middle Earth. So you would think that, you know, as far as fans go, they'd be a little bit, you know, higher up there as far as fans go. When I
Mhm.
mentioned our discussion about the Lord of the Rings, and we were talking about the fainting couch or something a few episodes ago, and I mentioned I was like, yeah, we were kind of making fun of that. Do you want to know what like what she said to me? She's like, "Who cares? It's all make believe. Why does it matter?
And that's where the rubber meets the road. That is it
Why
right there.
does it matter?" That's what the normie. That's as an for your normie friends, for your people
Mhm.
out there. They're like, why do you care about
Mhm.
these make believe fantasy and fairy
So what
tales?
if someone does it not to your liking? Like it come on, man, it's fake. It doesn't matter. It doesn't pay the bills. It's a hobby.
That is what we are up against. And I don't think, as much as I love Gary, as much as I love Geeks and Gamers, as much as I love all of them, I feel like that they aren't meeting that. I feel like
The
that's where
common
the real
They are putting up a
fight
great
is.
fight against the corporations. They are kicking the
Yes.
corporations' asses, but they are not all
They
they're
don't
doing
understand.
all I've seen in the year that I've known of Nerdrotic and the year that I've known of Geeks and Gamers, and then the past like 6 months that I've actively been a member of the community and felt at home, all I've seen them do is they say the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a point to what I'm saying in my ramblings. They don't extend an olive branch to the normies. They just say, "This is why I like it. Like this is why I like the Lord of the Rings lore, and this is why Amazon is doing it wrong."
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to care about why you like the Lord of the Rings. They're not going to care about why you like The Last of Us. They're not going to care about why you like Halo because they just don't. They have bills to pay. They have family. They have family
Mm-hmm.
members to take care of. They have children to take care of. They have quote unquote lives outside of make believe fantasy and sci-fi
Mm-hmm.
novels. And it's that is the cold hard truth is that we're not going to win this until you start talking with normies. I've been talking to my
Mm-hmm.
brother, my middle brother, an awful lot because he was telling me how much he loved Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of
Mm-hmm.
Madness. And I was like, dude, it was just Wanda. I haven't even seen it. And I've well, in
Mm-hmm.
a way I have seen it in roundabout ways. I'm not gonna say on this platform, but I have seen like the base structure of the Multiverse of Madness, and I
Mm-hmm.
was telling him the entire plot, and he's like, "Dude, you're making sense, but I don't like it," because I was like, "Wanda's the main character. Wanda is an undeserving main character. It should have been more about Doctor Strange. It was not about Doctor Strange because he was just pointing out how he really liked the nostalgia callbacks. He
Mm-hmm.
liked all of like the little Easter eggs that they throw in
Mm-hmm.
there, and I was like,
You got to get past that. You got to make them think.
"Yep."
That's what we have to do. You have to make them think.
And it's taken me weeks of saying the same thing to my brother and actually just being patient with him to start to get him to turn around. And he really is. He
Mm-hmm.
really is. And that is with one person who I have a familial connection with. The
Mm-hmm.
person that I can say whatever I want to and not really hurt their feelings. Like I can call him, "Hey, you're a dumbass for liking this and here's why." I can't do that with a complete stranger.
Right. Vard makes a good point. Why do they care so much about supporting the show if it doesn't matter and it's make believe? It works both ways. Yes. So I guess where my normie friend would come in at is they're just they just want some sort of entertainment and oh it's the next shiny thing. Like they don't care about they're not paying for something to support the message. They're paying for something to get entertainment. But they don't on some level there's a disconnect for a lot of people in the fact that like, oh, I'm supporting this that supports these things that I don't agree with. That's you have to make that connection of like that you just have to get them to think a little bit deeper about certain things. And that's where a lot of it will click for a lot of people.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
uh, Honestly, I'm kind of a normie, but I also hate the direction the entertainment industry is going. They're ruining everything. Like Star Wars, Marvel, Token, everything is a dumpster fire.
Running
Yes,
it into the ground.
yes, and there are normies out there. They don't want to admit it because they don't want to get made fun of because they don't want to get the same heat that a lot of us get.
Mhm.
That's another big thing is they're noticing things here and there, but they're not going to say anything until they know that somebody agrees with them.
Mhm. Because it is so easy for your livelihood to be destroyed.
And most people
Just
are not willing to risk it.
and I'm not talking about like the quartering and how like when he'll say something and everyone wants to demonize him, everyone wants to attack him, and so they'll go after his sponsors.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about they will call your employer. They will call the job. They will call the company. They will speak with the CEO who will find you. They will find you in the ranks and they will speak to your direct supervisor, and your direct supervisor will let you go. And then, if that is on your record, it's going to be either very difficult to move around in that large company or it's going to be very difficult to find another job. And as Eric July likes to point out, there isn't a parallel economy yet. Eric July
Yeah.
is building it. He's like he is going to be one of the founders of this parallel economy with
Mhm.
Rippaverse LLC, with his comic book company, and then you also have Epic Mike and Josiah Rises with the
Mhm.
Epic Verse. They are going to be more of, I think, what I'm gathering by their teasers, they're going to be more of a media company, more
Mhm.
movie and TV oriented. So that is the start of a parallel economy in the pop culture space. We
Mhm.
need a parallel economy when it comes to plumbers, when it comes to HVAC technicians, when it comes to construction workers. We need that. And you want to know what that is dominated by? Normies that only care about a paycheck to get by to feed their family.
Yep. That's the backbone of our society, and and not unfortunately, that's the reality of it. But when you win the hearts and the minds of the normies, you have the power. Sorry, I don't know why I keep doing like you have the power. I'm not good at Trump impressions, sorry. Jeremy Swigs, I love my 13-year-old daughter. Has been personal for years with people at church. Several people, especially elderly folks, have told me they love she comes up to say hello. Yeah, that's the thing. Just
But
talk to people.
that is your influence, Jeremy Swigs. That is your mindset bleeding into your daughter by the way that you are teaching her. That's the same thing that my parents did to me. So that is wonderful that your
Mm-hmm.
13-year-old daughter is that way. We need more like that, and I
Yes.
hope that she continues. And I hope that the propaganda that she is being fed in public schools or private schools, no matter where she goes, it's going to happen. I hope the propaganda stays away, and I hope that you, Jeremy, you remain vigilant.
Yes. Bob, today they are at our own door. Tomorrow at theirs. Doesn't have to be. Yeah.
Yep.
Today they're at our door. Tomorrow let's be at theirs. Yeah, they hijacked our beloved franchise to push their own agendas because they know our propaganda won't sell. They know their propaganda won't sell doing their own original content. Yeah, that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. They know their content stinks. They know they're not creative. They are creatively bankrupt, which is why they keep making remakes. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, there's so much creativity still out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things that and that's why, Rippa got a lot of previous DC and Marvel artists, if I'm remembering correctly. There's so many like creatives out there. We need to make sure that we are
Mm-hmm.
we need to tell the people what we want. Because the people will eventually they'll see the tide. They'll be like, "Oh, that looks cool. I'm going to go over here." Whereas before, and unfortunately, the sheep analogy just works too well, and I hate to say that, but that's the thing with sheep. If you are familiar with sheep in any way, shape, form, or fashion,
They're dumb.
they are, and that's why, like, if you are a Christian and you understand the Bible compares humanity to sheep
Mm-hmm.
because we're dumb.
Mm-hmm. It's either you're
We're
going to
very
listen to
dumb.
one shepherd or the other.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, that guy's nice and telling me things I want to hear. I'm gonna follow that guy. That guy's telling me things I don't want to hear. I'm not going to follow that guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vast majority of the population of Earth. That's how they think is
And
like,
And speaking of Eric July and Rippaverse Comics, we're seeing the first attack on a parallel economy. We're seeing people that are attacking him personally, financially, and attacking him, trying to get him off of social media, but they can't
mhm,
because he's not saying the wrong thing. He's not
right.
saying anything that will get him banned from social media, but they are attacking him personally because they're trying to say that he is just a ripoff, that he is a grifter, that he is this and he is that. It is all lies, and they are
Mhm.
all like they are all just
They're
chasing.
scared.
They're chasing clout, and they're scared that their comic book idea will be overshadowed by Rippa's, and
Mhm.
that they will have to go through the old guard in getting their book
Mhm.
published because they don't have a quote unquote following like Rippa does, and that is the social attack that they're doing. The
Mhm.
financial attack, we're seeing it again. PayPal before, I think it was like a couple months ago, they tried to mess with Rippa's account and they got it
Mhm.
locked out. Well, guess what? Now he has, I think it's like $1.3 million locked up. If you bought things from the Rippaverse store with
Mhm.
PayPal, your money is locked up. Now you're still going to get the product, he said, which is
Mhm.
awesome of him, but that money, he can't get that money for a while. He's going to have to get lawyers involved again. And this is how they're going to do it. We need a parallel economy that is the next um, book dealer, like Amazon started out. We need the next parallel economy that is a money lending service, like PayPal, a money transferring service. But guess what? Guess what? As soon as you start meddling around in that area of commerce, you're going to have the banks start coming for you. And the biggest force of cancel culture is the banks. So you have to tread very lightly, and Ripa knows this, and Ripa is doing everything legally, and he's going to have a damn paper trail if they try to mess with him again.
Yep.
And so with him being transparent on the way he's doing his business, and he's uploading his the way all the twists and turns that are happening lately, like, and he's being completely transparent. Pay attention to what he's saying. He is being the one to part the Red Sea. All you have to do is just follow in his footsteps, and you will either be more successful, just as successful, or maybe just as successful.
For it's also ridiculous how the same people complain about the IS and other hot topics have no problem being IS towards someone like Eric July double standard at its finest. Heck yeah, and we gotta keep calling it out. We gotta keep calling it out. I know people right now are they're starting to be an awakening, just the little hints of it, but we gotta be the prophets that just, we gotta be like Jeremiah, the weeping prophet. Nobody listened to him until it was too late. I mean, she spoke.
Oh, he's talking
yeah.
about his wife, the previous comment.
Yes.
I think my wife is more of an influence on my kids.
Oh, okay, my bad.
And that's good. It's supposed to be a team. It is supposed to be, and like I said before, I hope that all of your kids, Jeremy, grow up to have like the same mindset as you, because I really enjoy when you comment like this in the chats, because it lets us know that number one, we're not alone, and number two, more and more people are thinking like us every single day.
Right. And like it's amazing what we can do when we actually put our minds to it. I think that's the other thing is I love what Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic and of course Midnight's Edge and all of the people that are involved in those spheres of influence, like they're starting to really kind of come together and be one giant force, because that's the other thing is the other side is united. And that's what gives them their strength. The reason why we haven't had as much success is because we're just kind of all of these little bitty things, all sporadic, separated, spread out. We need to
I think the first time that we've seen it becoming like us coming together and being united is when Ripa launched his website, and we crashed that motherfucker for like 4 hours. So that is what we need to see more and more. Now, I understand it's expensive. I understand that you have to pick and choose the content that you want to support. And I have to do the same thing. So I might not support your book that you're going to release or your TV show that you're trying to make, but I will support you in saying this looks good. If you guys like this, support it. If you have the resources, support it. I was doing the same thing with Ripa. I was only able to buy one comic book, and I bought a hat when he released the hat.
I haven't been able to buy a lot of his merch yet, but that's because I'm saving up for various different things.
And that's the thing. You have, like, we all have a real life. We all have real lives along with this great hobby and this great passion that we all have with pop culture. And so it's all, and the pop culture and the hobby is real to each and every one of us. But also, my real life is going to be different than Mando's real life. I have a different job than Mando does. It just so happened that our schedules synced up to where we could do this little podcast right here.
That's really the biggest thing is like scheduling. And hopefully, you guys will hopefully be seeing more of me doing more things soon. Jeremy Swigs, Gary is the force. Yeah. Gary was the granddaddy of it all. Meow. Talk my dad out of watching Kenobi. Yeah, that's the thing. And like, here's the other thing as well. Point out the things that most normies don't see. Because to a normie, like what Ark was talking about with Doctor Strange, what they see is, ooh, shiny, flashy, boom, explosions,
Member
ooh.
berries.
And then when you actually sit down with him and you say, so the movie is called Doctor Strange. Was Doctor Strange the main character?
I mean, his name's in the title, so yes, he is the main character. But is he really?
That is
Is
stuff
it
like that.
Wanda? Is it like who had more time on screen and who
Mhm.
was more important to the plot? Wanda was, pure and simple. So does that mean
And
Wanda is the main character? No, she's a side character, man. Like, come on, you just think about it. How Marvel wanted it to be written. They wanted it to be written
mhm.
this way, where and then he started to wake up, and I saw it. I saw it click, and it was
Yeah,
great.
that's what we have to do is let and I've said this before about like this the same principle applies here to all toxic people. They will you like just point it out and let them dig their own hole. They are good at digging their own hole. Like we talk
Yep.
about the left can't meme.
Yep.
Let people the sheep, the people see things that are shiny and good, and if one thing doesn't look as good as another, they're going to go to the good thing. That's just
Mm-hmm.
what they do. But
Mm-hmm.
also, there are people out there who are normies now, but they won't be normies soon. They won't be because the people are starting to wake up. But the thing we got to do is just we got to sit back, and when somebody's like, "Wasn't that a great movie?" and you say, "Was it a great movie?"
Mm-hmm. Was it? You have to just ask simple questions. You don't go on the offensive. You don't be rude to them. You don't belittle them. You just ask simple questions. That's all you have to do.
Mhm.
Like that's a perfect question. Was Loki the main character in the show named Loki? That is, I know that later is laughing because it's very sarcastic, but even a sarcastic question is a good question. Those can be great questions.
Or the other thing, like I always forget Aragorn's actor's name, but like when he was asked, like, "What do you think of this new thing?" He's like, "Well, what source material?"
Yeah, the Viggo Mortensen, yes,
Yeah,
and
Vigo.
Vigo had a great gripe. He was upset about how much CGI Peter Jackson was using in the third installment of the Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
He was
And it's
upset about that because he's like, it's just we're using so many green screens, we're using so many
mm-hmm.
scenes that we have to as actors imagine, and it's man, it's
Elijah Wood also stood up for Tolkien. Yeah,
he did, yes.
and those I would still consider Vigo and Elijah like almost normies, like borderline normies. Like they have
Mhm.
their lives. They it was a love letter to Tolkien. Their project was, and I understand that, but
I mean,
they
I mean,
read
I think it was Ian McKellen who plays Gandalf hadn't read the
he
books.
yeah,
He accepted the role of Gandalf.
and then
Gandalf the
read the
Grey,
books.
and then read the books, and he fell in love with them. Same with Vigo. Vigo now speaks Elvish, and so does Hugo Weaving, who played Elrond. They speak Elvish,
Yeah,
and they're very fluent in it. I don't know how to speak Elvish,
I don't
but
either.
it's
I don't
like
even
that.
try.
That is their love of Tolkien
Mhm.
and what Tolkien created and how it helped them immerse themselves into the characters that they were portraying. And
I hope.
I have not seen that at all in
Mhm.
these trailers. And I am waiting for September
Right.
2nd when it drops because I am going to be looking to see if your character, if the character of Galadriel, if the character of Elrond, if the character of Gilgalad, if the character of the female orc is really feeling it, is really into that role. Because in the Fellowship of the Ring, Elijah Wood was Frodo Baggins. Sean Astin was Sam Gamgee. Ian McKellen was Gandalf. I
Yep.
understand that for like the Tolkien purists, it was a quote unquote slap in the face. You're spitting on Tolkien's book. Like you're not going to please everyone. But for a theatrical release, they did a pretty good job.
They did. And here's the thing, I'm hoping, like, my hope, and others have expressed this as well. I, from the bottom of my heart, hope that the way that the Rings of Prime succeeds is by making people buy the original books.
Yep.
I hope that's what this does. It's like, oh, this is pretty. Let's buy the books. Let's see what it says.
I agree.
Because that's a win. That is a win.
Yep. It is a
Jeremy
win
Swiggs.
if they buy the original.
Yes. My wife has never gotten into watching streams, but if my wife met you in person, I can tell you become one of her close friends. Thank you, Jeremy. That's awesome. One of these days I will meet you guys in person. Did you see the Lord of the Rings weaving wrapped in Elvish? It was awesome.
Yeah, I did see it. It wasn't bad.
I may not agree with Ian's lifestyle, but he is a great actor and spoke out about against actors' personal lives having to reflect the character to get the part. Yeah.
Yes, he
yeah,
did.
Absolutely. Agreed. Like for a long time, when someone played a character, that was the only character they were allowed to play. In the people's mind, like once you played that character, you're not allowed to do anything else, and that's not how actors make money. And so yeah, I
if you get typecasted, that is the end of your career.
It is. It really is. So, so many actors, they got typecasted, and it's so sad. But also, we do need to move on to the actual reason why people are here, the book, and also the. I guess we can try and rip apart the trailer a little bit more if we wanted to. But like, long story short, in a nutshell, what we need to do as people who love fairy stories, and I'm gonna butcher this quote, or no,
you're gonna paraphrase it. You're gonna paraphrase, it's
more
fine.
or less, yeah. So C.S. Lewis and Tolkien both, in similar veins, have said at one point in time or another, fairy stories like what we have today it's what gives human like us our life. It's what help creativity is the most important part of the human of our lives as humans, and that's not gonna die, hopefully. And so like yeah, it's not gonna die. So like that's the thing, like we need to understand why we care, why I care about Lord of the Rings or C.S. Lewis or any of these authors, is because it is art, it is history, and it's beautiful, and we need to preserve the things that are beautiful. Because if we don't, things are going to get very ugly
very fast. Yep.
When we lose what makes humans human, and that's why C.S. Lewis and Tolkien were both against postmodernism. They saw it coming, and they were like, no, because what you're doing is you're taking the soul out of humanity. You're when you take what gives life meaning out, World War II happens.
Yep. And perfectly put. I agree.
LOL, we all like chatting. In my experience of talking to people both online and in person, no one actually wants this woke nonsense. No one wants all these sequels, prequels, and reboots, etc. Yes.
That's the thing. No one wants it, but they don't feel the need to stop it. They think that it's a fad. They think it's going away, but it's just going to expound on itself. It's going to grow like a tumor, and it's going to grow exponentially.
Oh, it keeps cranking out for that small French group who thinks it's a good thing. Normies and nerds are all screaming stop. Yes, and normies. That's when I say like normies are starting to wake up. The only way to control a culture is by keeping the normies happy. When you start catering to these fringe groups that the majority of like normies are just like, oh, that's weird. I don't really like that. You're starting to lose the fight, because where we win the fight is the masses. When you have the hearts and the minds of the masses, you win. And that's why government takes so much time in propaganda. That's why
Mhm.
all governments throughout all of history, when you lose the people, when you mistreat the people, you
You lose
lose.
your empire.
You lose.
Mhm.
So,
Alright. That was a
the
good
music
chat.
of
I
the
loved
honor.
it.
Yes,
So
I
this
do
is
too.
chapter 2, right?
Yes, we are. For those of you
Very
who have
short
been
chapter
keeping
again.
very short chapter, yes. We're gonna start doing 2 chapters at a time from here on. But we are in the Book of Lost Tales, book 1 or part 1 for the whichever copy that you says. Sometimes it says book 1, sometimes it says part 1. Chapter 2, the music of the Ainur. Basically, if any of you have read the Silmarillion, it's kind of a repeat of that, but here's why. Is because if
Eh,
you guys remember from last week, Aorl
yeah.
or Elfenheim, whatever, he's from our world, and he
Yes.
somehow found himself in Middle Earth. And so basically he's going around trying getting these stories of Middle Earth. And so when last week he was at this person's house, and he kind of got an understanding of some of the history of the Noldor and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So this is kind of a continuation of that. But also it kind of recreates the story of how Middle Earth was started, because this is the first time this person is hearing it. So
Mhm.
we are Aorl or Elfenheim. We are the new person who's never quote unquote heard of the story of the music of the Ainur.
Mhm.
And some of you who are new probably don't know the story, so it's good. It's a good refresher. I always love to listen to read the story of
Mhm.
how Middle Earth was created. But that's in a nutshell summary. That's kind of what this chapter was really about. Is Elfenheim sitting down and listening to how Middle Earth was created, and who the Ainur are, who the Valar are, who the Eld are, who Iluvatar is. Um, I might not have typed, but I listened to every single word you guys said. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. Oh, I missed it. I missed this one, Charlie. Using imagination is your brain's version of cardio to balance the intellectual strength training of studying. Yes.
Mhm. I like that.
Yes. I guess when I say I'm more of a normie, I mean I'm more of a movie and music guy. I'm not into books or comic books, but I grew up on Star Wars, and that's trash right now. Yeah, yeah, normies are seeing it.
Mhm.
Normies are seeing it. Like I
And
said,
there are
let them dig their own hole. They'll
and
dig
that's
it.
the thing. You have book normies that are up in arms because of what the Rings of Power is doing to Tolkien's Legendarium. They didn't care one single bit about what happened to Star Trek and Star Wars because it
Mm-mm.
wasn't a book. And I understand that you have the extended universe is mainly books and comics for Star Wars, but a lot of them, like they're not going to watch Star Wars. A lot of them haven't even seen Episode 4, but
Yeah.
they know the Lord of the Rings backwards and forwards. They know the
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter backwards and forwards, and so they're going to stand up for the book media. And
Mm-hmm.
you have Star Wars normies that the love all of the movie media and television media that was Star Wars that don't care about what's happening with the Lord of the Rings. That's where we have to collectively come together, put aside our dislikes or our not caring
Mm-hmm.
of the other form of media, and we have to say this is wrong and here's why. A perfect
Mm-hmm.
example of that is Disbrew. Disbrew doesn't really like Lord of the Rings. He is a Wheel of Time fan. The Wheel of
Mm-hmm.
Time is his Jimmy Jam. So when he saw the same thing happening to the Lord of the Rings that happened to the Wheel of Time, he had to expose it. He had to speak up about it. He had to say, "Hey, they're doing it again. They're doing it again."
Mm-hmm. Jeremy, who are the Valar? Or who the Valar are? JRR. Yeah, in a nutshell, we all know, like, meta. It's John. It's Tolkien. That's Iluvatar. Have up on Disney Wars the moment they tossed out. Same,
Mhm.
Jeremy.
Mhm.
Preach. Thank you.
And
But
see,
yeah, that
when
yeah.
you give up on something, you let them win. When you give up on something, like I did that with Star Wars. I did that with Star Wars on episode 8. I remember I went to the movie theaters with my brother to see episode 7. It was meh. I wasn't up on the EU stuff. I didn't care. It was a new Star Wars movie. I'm going to give it a shot. And I was just I left episode 7 like with a bad taste in my mouth, and then I just left completely stunned about how bad it was. with episode 8. I left with
Oh.
no feeling whatsoever for Star Wars after that. I did not care if it won, if it succeeded, or if it died. I didn't care. So I let them win.
Mm-hmm.
But guess who didn't? Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. He didn't let
Yep.
them win.
Yup. Var, honestly, the book normies would like yeah, I actually prefer the EU, because Lucas was heavily inspired by Tolkien. He even borrowed the name Endor. Yeah. Like that's, and here's the thing with like as far as my Star Wars backstory. Yes, my name is Untamed Mando. Like the reason for that, I'll get into in a bit. But the moment they said the EU was not canon, I was out. I was like, nope. I'm a EU person. You know, I don't like this. To quote the Rings of Prime, the skies are weird. They're not natural. You know, these are bad times. That was my inclination. That I knew from the moment they said the EU was not canon. I was like, nope. I know bad things are afoot. But I also enjoyed The Mandalorian, but that's because I already loved the Mandalorian culture to begin with. I hated the changes they did, but I like the Mandalorian culture. That's where the name Mando comes from. But I also did see episode 7. I left and I was like, those are really nice cinematics.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
liked the look.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And it had a halfway okay soundtrack.
Yeah, and then someone told me what happened in episode 8.
Ah,
Someone
I wish
told me
I
ahead
had
of
it,
time,
somebody.
and I just could not, like. I love Star Wars so much. I couldn't bring myself to see episode 8 and 9. I've seen enough because people, I don't know if they love or hate me, but people have sent me things,
Like posting clips and everything. Yeah.
and everything. So I pretty much had watched both movies before they, like, I didn't see them in theaters, but I did see them.
Yeah, I've pretty much seen episode 9 through clips that my brother sends me of memes about how bad it is. I'm just like, that was in there. That was in there. Oh, you mean to tell me
It makes me
that was in
sick to
there?
my
Ugh.
stomach to understand what they, like, the way they did, like. And I know people are gonna hate on Harrison Ford and
And Carrie Fisher and
Carrie
Mark
Fisher,
Hamill.
and yeah, Mark Hamill, he tweets bad. He's a lefty. We all know that.
Yeah.
But you could see it, like, in the interviews in the beginning. You could see it in his eyes. You could see it in his soul, what was going on. And until they made him shut up, because I know that 180 that happened, there was a conversation that happened, and he
There
was
was a
threatened.
time.
I can bet you money he
There
was threatened.
I guarantee you he was threatened. There was a time where Mark Hamill was fat and happy. There was a time that he was overweight, and he would have went and he would have had an open discussion with Gary Buechler at Nerdrotic.
Yep.
There was a time that he would have appeared on Friday Night Tights. There was a time that he would have appeared on Tuesday Night's Main Event, because he's always had those left-leaning views.
But he's a nerd.
He's a nerd, and he's the Joker. He's the voice of the Joker. He is who I think of when you say the Joker. I think of Mark Hamill's voice.
Yep, same. I can't, like, even though the other Batman movies were fantastic, Mark Hamill's my Joker. He will always be my Joker.
And so, like, the same with Carrie Fisher. If Carrie Fisher hadn't have passed away, I believe that she would have been open to unless there was interference from the studios and from her managers and everything. I think she would have been open to have a conversation with Gary, because look at the fucking life that she lived. Look at the life that Gary lived. I'm sure that there was some commonalities with drug use that they could have talked about and laughed about.
But like, and that makes me sad, because Mark Hamill, he can't tweet, but like, no one deserves to be threatened into silence like that.
And there had to have been some of that. Otherwise, it was just he always thought this way deep down, and now he doesn't care anymore. And that's there's those two realities that I see. So they did Leia an injustice. They absolutely did. They ruined her character.
They
They
did.
they ruined Han's character.
Mm-hmm.
But that was because Harrison Ford didn't want to return. He's getting too old to do things, and now he's coming back for a sixth Indiana Jones
I don't
movie.
think he wanted to do that either.
No,
Mark Hamill told Ryan Johnson that he hated everything he did with Luke. He apologized and said it was inappropriate to say that on an interview. But even he said that Ryan ruined the character. Yeah, it's Jake
he did.
Skywalker. It's
Mhm.
Jake Skywalker. Unfortunately, yeah, he is a lefty, and that's fine. But I don't think I think what pushed him into the I'm not going to even talk to people like people like us who maybe are more center or whatever is I can almost bet you money he was threatened into silence, and he's like, "You will play. This is a playbook. You will go by this playbook, and you will not deviate from this playbook. If you do, you're done.
I
You're
mean,
done."
if everything is true, like what happened with Shippey, the Tolkien scholar, and how he was canned for sticking up for Tolkien's lore. I mean, if it very well could have happened to Hamill. It would have had a larger fallout, and I wish Hamill could have like stood his ground
Mhm.
and stood on his what morals he did have. I think that it would have been beneficial for everyone, but of
Mhm.
course he didn't.
Ford wanted Han to die in the end of Empire. Then Luke was like, "Surprise! Yeah, oh yeah." Like we all knew Harrison Ford's tried to get Han to die since the beginning. He hated that character. I told Jay I watched 7 and 8 from Redbox. I was curious, but went to YouTube and typed, "I hate Disney Star Wars." Jeremy's Last Jedi video Gingy was a little 800 sub channel at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. Bill Shatner did not get that playbook. Nope.
Oh,
Yeah.
he called. I thought it was hilarious because William Shatner called J.J. Abrams called him a two-timing whore for directing Star Trek and directing Star Wars because
Yup.
Shatner is a Trekkie. Shatner is team Star Trek. He is not team Star Wars.
Nope.
So, mm,
Yeah, they're about to ruin another friendship. Indiana Jones that should have. It did end with the third
um,
one.
um,
There's only
um,
3.
the
With
fourth one
and his
killed
dad
it. By
literally
the way,
riding off into the sunset at the end of the third one. Yeah, him and his dad riding off into the sunset.
mm-hmm.
That's the end of that's the end of Jones. Yeah,
Now they're
I
gonna
was told.
gender swap. Are
Oh,
you
so
serious?
so
Or is that a joke?
my apologies for all of you who are here for the book and for Tolkien. But I have to. So here's what I've been told about the Indiana Jones movie: is there's going to be time travel, there's going to be space combat, and we all know with time travel, they're going to change some stuff.
Oh no!
I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to
Wow.
leave it there.
All right,
You know,
I got one thing to say about the book, the second chapter. So it is Ariel who is the man who has come to the island of Tol Eressëa. He is at the cottage. They have just gotten done with the meal, and then he goes to his room. They show him his room. It's a nice, lavish room. It's kind of small, but it's very nice, very cozy. He has a wonderful dream where he hears singing and he hears music, beautiful music. Well, when he wakes up to the sound of birds. Just as beautiful, but more faint as that sound. Meaning that the sound of the Ainur is in everything. It is in the trees, it is in the birds, it is everywhere. The song of the Valar. And so he is just listening to the birds, and then he sees a servant by the name of Rumil. And Rumil is upset because there's one bird that is a black bird that is not singing correctly, and he's very upset. Well, they get into a conversation, and then Rumil is talking about how he understands what these birds are saying because he has trained himself to understand every single language of every single being on the Middle Earth on Arda. So he goes and they're having a great conversation, and it gets to the point. Let me see. I'm reading from the book. Then
mhm.
Ariel says, maybe you can tell me of things that I greatly desire to know, since the words by the tail fire, that means the campfire that they had their little stories around, the tail fire of yester eve, Who be the Valar, Manwë, Aule, and the ones ye name? And wherefore came ye Eldar from that home of loveliness in Valinor? So now he is talking to Rumil, who was a servant of the people of this house, but he was also a slave to Melkor. He was a slave to Melkor. That is stated in the book, and that is why he knows that bird, that black bird, is a servant of Melkor, because it is not singing correctly. It is not saying the right things, and birds speak. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
birds do speak in Tolkien's universe. Everything speaks, basically. The trees speak.
Yep.
So they now came those two to a green arbor, and the sun was up and warm, and the birds sang mightily, but the lawns were spread with gold. Then Rumil sat upon a seat there of carven stone, grown with moss, and said he, Very mighty are the things that you ask, and their true answer delves beyond the uttermost confines of the wastes of time, whither even the sight of Rumil the aged of the Noldali may not see. So he's saying, I don't even have all of the knowledge. I this is just word of mouth that I have been able to gather. I have
Mm-hmm.
so much so much wisdom of my own life, but this goes beyond my life.
Mm-hmm.
And all the tales of the Valar and the elves are so knit together that one may scarce expound any one without needing to set forth the whole of their great story, or great history. Yet, said Ariel, tell me, Rumil, I beg, some of what you know, even of the first beginnings, that I may begin to understand those things that are told me in this isle. See, they're speaking in like an old English
Oh
in an old
yeah, like
English tone.
it took me I guess because I've been reading a lot of like classics just in my own life,
Hmm.
my brain automatically switched to being able to understand that, and it took me a
Hmm.
second to go back. I was like, "Oh, they're speaking in Old English."
That's right. This is where Rumil starts to actually tell the story of the Song of the Valar. But Rumil said Iluvatar was the first beginning, and beyond that, no wisdom of the Valar or of Eldar or men can go. Who was Iluvatar? Was he of the gods? Nay, said Rumil, that he was not, for he made them. Iluvatar is the Lord for always, who dwells beyond the world, who made it and is not of it or in it, but loves it. This have I never heard elsewhere. That may be, for 'tis early days in the world of men as yet.
Mm-hmm.
Nor is the music of the Ainur much spoken of. So he said the age of men is very, very young right now. So
Mm-hmm.
you probably haven't heard it. Let me tell you about it, because the music of the Ainur isn't really spoken about, but I do know the history of the music of the Ainur. It is just it once again, it is Tolkien in like the early 1900s, probably like 1918, 1919. He's writing this story, and he is um he is just he's doodling.
Yeah.
He is literally doodling. He has painted the picture of Ariel, he has painted the picture of Rumil, and now he is painting the picture of the music of the Ainur. If you look at it this way, instead of John being a poet and a writer, if you look at it in the way of an artist and a painter and a sculptor, he is just sculpting and doodling, creating his universe. So we keep going. It says, Tell me, said Ariel, for I long to learn what was the music of the Ainur. And then Rumil basically just says what the beginning of the Silmarillion says.
Yep. He just more or less copies the first couple chapters of the Silmarillion again.
And that is the second chapter of the Book of Lost Tales. It is just, you have Ariel and you have Rumil, and you have Rumil, who is an older gentleman who is very wise, and he's going to explain what's going on with the music of the Ainur and who Iluvatar is. It is very, very nice that they included who was Iluvatar. Was he of the gods?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Nay,
that's
that he
cool.
was not, for he made them.
Mm-hmm.
It says, Iluvatar is the Lord for always, who dwells beyond the world, who made it and is not of it or in it, but loves it.
Yes.
That was a nice addition, and it does add to the importance of Eru Iluvatar. It adds
Mm-hmm.
to the importance of knowing that that is the God creator of Tolkien's universe and how he did create the Ainur, which is the major gods, and the Maiar, which is the lesser gods.
Yep.
So all things come from Ilúvatar, and yet the music of the Ainur, the music of the Valar, the music of the Maiar, all of that goes into creating Arda. And that
Like-
is what Rumil was telling Ariel in this chapter.
I'm going to also catch up on chat real fast.
Mhm.
Perfect ending. Talk about going a little bit further back. Talking about the Indiana Jones.
Mhm.
Don't worry about derailing. Unpopular opinion. I like the third Indiana Jones movie best. That's actually not an unpopular opinion. A lot of people have that opinion.
Mhm.
Rome, sweet mother of God, referring to like
The Star
rumor
Wars,
that
yeah,
or no,
spacecraft,
the
space
Indiana
fight,
Jones, the
and
Indiana
time
Jones
travel.
one. Yeah, the time travel and
Mhm.
aliens and stuff. Da, 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 da. You have to get the book ASAP. Yes. So here's the thing that during my research on finding the 13 histories of Middle Earth, which I am so jealous, Elijah, if you're still listening to this because you have all 13 and I am struggling. I have to get them on Kindle. But here's the thing. The first 10 you can find on Kindle or an online version. After that, there are only hard or paperback copies. So my goal is to get all 13 paperback or hard copy, or I just want to find the physical copy of the books,
Mhm.
but they're out of print.
Yep.
I just spit all over my mic. They are out of print.
Yep.
So Boba, you and me both, we got to get on this horse like as soon as possible because
It will
right now
probably be
Amazon.
more difficult for Boba to get it because he's over in Europe and Tolkien is loved over there, like more so than the United States.
Right, but still, like, just me like online shopping for the 13 histories. One day I searched at my Barnes and Noble, they had it, and it was like $8 or $9 for each book. I looked at it again a couple days later, the price doubled. It
Mhm.
doubled. So people are looking for these books. And if any of you wonderful viewers and commenters out there love me and want more of my content, please get me the money to get the books or send me copies of the books, please. Because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find, especially the last 3. Like the Ring of Morgoth, like that's a hard one. Love Tolkien, all the symbolism was a big thing, but he hated allegories. I don't know.
Yes, he
Good thing
hated allegories,
me,
but he loved symbolism.
Tolkien was a great creator, and it's very upsetting when these Amazon shows said that they're fixing his work. Yeah, same physical
Yeah.
copy. Walmart has them for $8 per book. You must sit. I have to work today. Dang it! I will find it. I didn't know Walmart. I hadn't been looking at
I'm
Walmart.
looking it up now.
But yeah, like I want all 13 histories, physical copies. I have the first 2, probably about to get the first 3 because they're both easy to find on Kindle, but I prefer to have physical copies because I've read Fahrenheit 451 too many times. And if for those of you who know the premise of Fahrenheit 451, you'll know it's happening in real life, in
What is
real
it called?
time.
What is it called? The histories of Middle Earth? Is that what it's
Yeah, the
called?
histories of Middle Earth, but each book is a different has a different
title?
name. Yeah, so the Book of Lost Tales, book 1 and 2 are the first 2 of and then the Lays of Beleriand, and I forget the ones after that.
Okay, the history of Middle Earth, the shaping of Middle Earth, series number 4, the histories of Middle Earth, the Lost Road and Other Writings, series number 5. Is that what you're speaking of?
A lot of times bookstores will have 5 books of the 13 histories, and they'll sell that as the 13 histories.
Is the Lays of Beleriand, is that
That's number
series
3.
3? Okay, yeah, I see them. They're $8 a piece for paperback on Walmart. I
Buying
just
from Walmart
looked.
is a way to get them without supporting Amazon. Okay, I live in the home of Walmart, so everything is Walmart here. Like, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, if you are a Tolkien lover, or if you are a book lover or a history lover, the 13 histories of Middle Earth. I have not. That's what Ark and I are going to be doing, is going through all 13 histories. I only have the first 2, about to have the first 3, so I've still got roughly 10 more books to go.
Mhm.
and they're all just and that's not including Beren and Luthien. That's not including the fall of Gondolin. Those aren't part of the histories of Middle Earth. Those are just their own thing.
That's not the Children of Hurin either.
Yeah, the Children of Hurin. That's a separate book. The 13 histories. Most people don't know of them or have never heard of them, and they are out of print. So it's like gold. It's like gold. So, but yeah, yeah, physical. I highly recommend physical copies. And if you don't, like, when I say read Fahrenheit 451, if you haven't, I have, I think, a copy over here. Let me look. Do I have the copy of Fahrenheit 451? I think I do. No, I don't.
I inadvertently stole from my high school their copy of Fahrenheit 451.
Dang it, I thought I had it. Okay. But if you've never read it, you should read it. Because it's basically modern day. It's modernity right now. It's the premise is people, of course, like it was written in the early 1900s, 1980s, or 1800s. It's about burning books because the government doesn't want you to have knowledge of history.
I think it was like 1954 or something like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
You sent me something on Discord. Okay, let me take a look at that.
So, this getting back to this second chapter, and we're definitely going to pick up the pace. We spent so much time just expounding on the trailer and how we need to be better with culture, because we knew that this chapter 2 is just about the song of creating the universe and creating Arda. So everyone knows this, and that's why I just quickly went through and talked about it, because the only two, like, there's only two characters in this chapter, Ariel and Rumil. Rumil's pretty cool because he tells how he was a slave of Melkor and how he learned all of the monster speech and the orcish speech, and how, like, he learned all languages of all creatures. So that's how he was able to bestow this knowledge on Ariel about the music of the Ainur and about Eru Iluvatar.
Yes.
And that's it. That's the end of the chapter.
Well, so my thing though, like, kind of diving deeper, because and Christopher, of course, makes notes in this, and we know your opinion on Christopher and stuff. But I love the part. So Christopher made a note that he was actually kind of working on this, like the music of the Ainur, the same time he was working on the Oxford Dictionary. Around the same time, which is interesting to think about, because like he was writing the dictionary, and like, so
and we know that he wrote the dictionary between the time of 1918 and 1920.
Yes.
So that is why we think that this chapter here was written around that time. So
yes. And the other thing, Tolkien was playing, and you can kind of see it in real time. Tolkien was playing with the idea of the Noldor elves actually being gnomes, and they are called the Noldori here, but he's actually talking about the Noldor elves, and kind of the Aor, like the person, Elfenstein, we'll call him that, so it's different. Elfenstein talking from us as the reader, our understanding at that time in the early 1900s of the fairy folk, the gnomes, the elves, the dwarves. He's going from his perspective into Middle Earth, and he's like, "Oh, so you mean like the gnomes?" And the guy is like, "Well, actually, ours are different." And they're kind of like this, but they're also called gnomes, and you can see where Tolkien was kind of going back and forth with the idea of actually the Noldor elves were gnomes, but actually they're not, but they are, but they're not. And you can kind of like, it's just cool to see in real time Tolkien like making the elves, the Noldor elves.
It really is. It is fascinating to see the mind of an author and of a great poet at work, and that is what we're seeing, and that is what Christopher Tolkien has preserved. With all of these, I don't like using this term because I find it somewhat disrespectful to Tolkien and to Christopher, but of all of these flip-floppings, like he would go back and forth, you see like how he was able to create the Lord of the Rings and publish that book. And you see how he was able to create the appendices and what he chose to put into the appendices. You see how he was able to mold The Hobbit from a simple children's story to a story that is in the Lord of the Rings legendarium, that it directly relates to the Lord of the Rings, even though at the time of publishing The Hobbit, he didn't really know what the Lord of the Rings was going to be like. So it was, you see that this mythology, this mythos was always in the back of Tolkien's brain, even when he was working on the dictionary, even when he was at the Battle of the Somme, even when he was a Oxford professor, it was always there. It was always there.
Imagine being a slave to Morgoth and then surviving all of it and live to say that a story later. I know, right? And that's what Tolkien was like. Of course, Tolkien does this multiple times throughout the Lord of the Rings and many of his different writings. Is he inserts himself, like he is the servant telling Eorl or Elfenheim the story, because like he understands someone who's been through some stuff and telling the story and what that looks like and how that feels, and like it's just, yeah, he's just inserting himself, saying this is my story of, because I've gone through some stuff. Actually, yes. But yeah, like it's fascinating to see the mind of an artist, because yeah, he's an artist. I feel like I feel like the same, like so often we as human beings sorry, like to put things in classifications because we understand them better, we're able to wrap our minds around them. But I feel like we do a disservice to authors and writers and poets and people who write things down, because we put it as a different classification of art than we do as painters, as sculptors, as people. Like I
How
it
many
does it a disservice because people see them as two different art, like two different forms of art, when in actuality, yes, the medium is different, but the mindset and the craft itself is the same.
How many times did Da Vinci create the Mona Lisa? How many times did he have to like destroy the painting and start over fresh? We're not told, but I imagine it's a lot of times. How many times did C.S. Lewis have to start over on Narnia? How many times did Tolkien have to start over on the Lord of the Rings? I mean, there was a 14-year time gap between the publishing of The Hobbit and the publishing of the Lord of the Rings. So, I mean, it's not so that's why we call them artists. That's why I love it when Eric July says creatives, because that is what they are. They're not just creators, they're being creative with their imagination, with what they want to put into the world. They want to. It's not that they need to, it's that they want to. And it just so happens that C.S. Lewis and Christopher Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, George R.R. Martin, they decided to create something that was so well received that they made a decent living off of it with the Narnia and the Lord of the Rings, the Silmarillion, Game of Thrones, Robert Jordan with the Wheel of Time. Like they had something that they wanted to put down in writing, and they did, and now it's part of our culture. It's part of our fantasy literature.
And I think that's the other thing that we need to make sure that we convey, especially in particular with Tolkien. And this is really only like C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, I would say, is the only ones we really like you can do this kind of argument with. And Bob, I agree with you. For me, every creative process is art, including building a Lego set. Yes, but Tolkien and Lewis, have such an impact on modernity, like us as a modern culture, that people don't understand. The majority of people don't understand that the Oxford Dictionary was like Tolkien had a hand in that. Most people don't know that a lot of modern artists and modern writers and modern thinkers
Mhm.
copied from Tolkien and C.S. Lewis. Most of them have no idea. And so when they go, well, why does it matter that people aren't following what Tolkien said? Because you don't understand the cultural impact that Tolkien has had on Western, and not just Western civilization, but the entire world. Like, when you understand the impact that these men have had on modernity, that is when I think a lot of people will start, and not everybody, but a lot of people will understand why people care so much. A lot of the same people who won't care are the same people who are fine with breaking statues and getting rid of the Constitution and all of these old fuddy-duddy things that don't matter anymore. It's because they don't have an understanding of the simple fact that the English language that you speak had Tolkien had a hand in.
Mhm.
Like the
Absolutely.
the modern stories that you like, television, movies, the theater, the simple, like, you don't have to understand the history to enjoy it, but you have to understand the history to understand why we are where we are. When you erase people like Tolkien, like
Mhm.
C.S. Lewis, like even the bad parts of our history, you erase part of what makes you you. And that's what
Mhm.
people don't understand. They think that you can just, they don't understand that the DNA of us, as especially Americans, is woven into certain philosophies of Plato, of Herodotus, of Homer, of Shakespeare. Like they understand these names and that they're a thing, but they don't understand the simple fact that your everyday life is so impacted and affected by these people. Like, we cannot take them out of our who we are as a culture, because if you do, you take out the foundation of the building that you're living in, but you don't see the foundation, so you don't think about it. And that's the unfortunate thing that we have in our society right now, is we don't understand the pillars of the pillars of the building that we're living in, and so we think, oh, well, that wall doesn't need to be there, so I'm just going to take it out. But you don't understand, and you're not going to be willing to do the research to understand that is a load-bearing wall, and that is what Tolkien is to our society. He is a load-bearing wall to the house of Western civilization. You take out that wall and you don't give it the proper respect it deserves, the entire house will fall down. Sorry, that's my that's my
Hey, it
rant.
was a good rant. I agree. I agree to an extent. Yes, as with everything, I agree. I agree to an extent, and I hope people agree with me to an extent. I don't want people to agree with me 100% because we always need that friction to keep ourselves sharp. And
Yes.
so I do agree that the impact that Tolkien and Lewis have had, specifically John Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, that they have had on the English language is either equivalent to or more so than Shakespeare. Because we don't speak like how Shakespeare speaks. We speak how Tolkien speaks. Not so much the Silmarillion style of writing,
Right, right.
but the way he wrote The Lord of the Rings, it has not changed
Mhm.
in very many editions. I'm thinking like maybe the first edition in released in Britain may have
Probably.
been a little bit worded differently than what we're used to, but the second edition, especially the second edition released in America, has pretty much stayed the same. And so I enjoy reading the history of Tolkien. Not many
Mhm.
people do. But I also enjoy reading the history of not just the Western world, but of the Eastern world and the South
Mhm.
American world and of the African world, like I say of those different worlds, but of those cultures.
Mhm.
I enjoy world history. I enjoy the history of different cultures, the history of different social movements and social values, the way that values and morals have changed or remained constant throughout history fascinates me.
Mhm.
And we could spend hours on end on this podcast talking about that. We don't have time for that. I understand.
Today in particular, maybe not next week, but the week after. Like,
Mhm.
and that's the thing. Like, look, as I right now, yes, we are going through the histories of Middle Earth,
Mhm.
but the point of this podcast is to get back the literature that makes us who we are. And
I can't wait. Like, if we ever talk about C.S. Lewis and Narnia, I would love that. I would love that.
we are, yes. People don't even study history. Robert E. Lee wasn't a racist. He was fighting for a Southern home, and there were a lot of people who
specifically he was fighting for Virginia and Virginia alone.
Really well said. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, like and that's why also I wanted to make sure that we did, because I am a lover of history, and so of course talking about Tolkien and realizing that there are histories that we can talk about. That's why I wanted to do this series on the histories of Middle Earth. There was another point I was going with somewhere. Oh, yes. So when you study history, one of the things that you realize is, yes, at that point in time, like most people in recorded history, when they say the whole world, they have the maps are wrong and stuff like that, but they understood that these different cultures existed, except for the Americas in particular. A lot of people didn't, that was kind of more isolated, but like Africa, Asia, the Middle East, like Europe, if you look at Greek maps, like ancient Greek maps and ancient Roman maps, yes, they're misshaped, but all of the people groups are there. They just thought it was a much smaller landmass. And then when you understand that and you look at the history through that context of, they knew that Asia was there. Alexander the Great knew the Huns were there. So if he knew about the Huns, he knew about the Chinese. You know about the Chinese, you know about the Indians. Like, that's the thing. Like, people are like, oh, well, Western civilization, is and colonizers and blah blah. Like, sure, but that's the history of the world. Like, the world has constantly been at war.
Sad, if you want to think about it as a sad fact, then it's the sad fact of the way things are. But that's also
we're
just
not
a
the only
fact.
ones who did it. Like,
Yeah.
we're not like the people keep wanting to
The
harp
Western,
on
the Western, like Greco-Roman and British and Spaniards and all of those military powers, that they did all of this through military might. They did it through mercantile empires. They that is what shaped the history. Where the money went and where the money was found the fastest and easiest, that is how it was shaped. That is how the world was shaped. So as and it's also very, very you can see it with how the English language has changed throughout the years.
Yeah. Especially like during the early Middle Ages, like the reason why the English language sounds German, a lot of words we say sound very German, is because for a long time the Germans were the actual ones in charge of things. Like, there were German kings and queens on the English throne and French kings and queens on the English throne, and vice versa and so forth. Also removing the images like Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, and Land O'Lakes Butter Maiden is erasing history and culture, and we need to be reminded that those people existed. Yes. Mel Brooks tried to teach history of the war, at least one part. Yeah, definitely. The movies are not super accurate, but I like what he's trying to do. Also, the majority of American thinks that Native Americans are extinct. That comes from being uneducated about your own culture. Yes,
that's very sad.
And that's like, and people want to. I'm gonna go on another rant for a bit because I have a little bit of time before I have to leave. But people want to give the Native Americans a victim card because the white European colonists, came in and took them out. What you don't, for those of you who don't understand history and don't read it, the Indian tribes would go to war with each other all the time. And do you know what they did when they won those wars? They would take over the land, the people, and they would
and the resources.
And the resources, like, they did that with each
of
other.
The loser.
of the loser. They didn't give them back their land. Who in God's name thought that
That is against human nature to give things back to the
Like,
loser.
you
Yeah.
take over you take over a people group, you enslave that people group, and
Yep.
then you get more powerful. That's what the tribes did. They moved around. Yes, they were
Let's
a
go with
nomadic
a,
culture.
a less volatile topic, because that is volatile. That is
Yeah,
a
sorry.
topic that they, not us and not anyone in chat, but anyone watching this VOD will have a bad taste in their mouth. So let's go ahead and take it this way. When the United States government, when the American government of the 1940s beat the absolute shit out of the Japanese Empire and just ground them into the dirt over a long campaign of the Pacific Theater, and after we nuked them twice, and after we did the like fire bombings and bombing raids that flattened Tokyo, we took the Japanese people, the American government did, and we rebuilt them in the image that the American government wanted. We did not give them back their land the way that it was. We did not give them
Right.
back their culture the way that it was. That is very similar to what the Native Americans would do to the other native tribes that they took over, either through war or through the absorbing them into their culture, absorbing them into their sphere of influence, either by making them vassals or just straight up taking them out
Yeah.
and consolidating their power and assimilating the loser. That is the point of humanity.
Yeah. Unfortunately, human history, like the strong take over the weak. Like that's the unfortunate fact of human history. And for anybody who studied history, world history for more than 5 seconds knows that.
And that is what Tolkien studied.
Yes.
That is what
Tolkien
Lewis
studied that.
studied.
Mhm.
Because they were at a prime time of world history. They were citizens of a British Empire. They were citizens to a monarch, not so much a parliament. The monarch still held a lot of power, and so they had a very, very large uh, um, pool of knowledge that they could pull from. And so, with Tolkien being as smart as he was, and with Tolkien being as curious as he was, and as creative as he was, that is why we get a history book in the Silmarillion. That is why we get a fairy tale in the Lord of the Rings that has such great military history, and it's a great example of what the human psyche was for so long. The
Mhm.
human psyche today is completely different than 50 years ago, and for good reason, because we have started to slip away. And that is calling back to the culture war, and what Gary from Nerdrotic and what Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is trying to do, and what Eric July is trying to do. We're trying to fight that culture war.
Mhm.
So as we slip more and more away from the psyche of what Tolkien grew up with, and what our grandparents grew up with, and what our parents grew up with, like we're gonna be left with nothing but a jagged hole that we have to crawl out of. And it's going to be very difficult. And it's only with remembering our history and teaching our history that we're going to be able to get out of this hole. And it's only with preserving the art that is either a painting or a written media or a movie or a TV show in the visual media that will help us get out of this hole as well.
Youth. Boba, I'm hoping for aliens to come and give us a good slap.
I mean, Independence Day.
Yeah. The strong take over the weak. Mando's new Friday Fortnite tagline. Hey, I
Absolutely.
might. Yeah. If somebody reminds me. But yes, I do actually. Let me.
It is
look.
12:40. Well, 12:38 actually.
Yes. Oh, give me a second. I thought that was. I did not see that until just now. I thought I already did that for you. You have. We have to head out, but talk about your 200 follower stuff.
Oh, yes. I recently hit 200 followers on Twitch, on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Arkasule. It's just like what my name is, Arkasule. For 200 followers, that means this Saturday, at I'm gonna say like 6 a.m. I'm going to start my 24-hour stream as a celebration stream because I was able to hit 200 followers and that's what my chat wanted. So I am inviting all of you if you want to just pop in and say hi and talk with chat and talk with me. We're going to be playing a multitude of different games. We might be playing some party games. I am going to be releasing more information soon. You can just follow me on Twitter as well. That's it's just at Arkasule, and that's where I'll be updating everyone. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. And so that is the day is July 30th. July 30th, I will be starting around 6 or 7 a.m. Central Time. And we're going to go until the 31st, 6 or 7 a.m. Central Time. And it's going to be a ton of fun. And I hope to see all of you there and might have Mando on as a guest. I don't know. We will probably be playing some Apex and Fortnite. I'll probably play like a single player game to get it started off. Try to my chat wants to see me play the Metro games, which is Metro 2033. I think that's what it is. Like it's the Metro Exodus. I think that's what they want to see me play. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And that's it. That's all. That's all I got going on right now. Is just the 200 follower special. I also have a YouTube channel that I will be making some content for because there are some opinions I have about Tolkien that I want to get out because I think that they're not unique by any standard, but they are mine. And I think if I make a concise video explaining my opinion on Tolkien, J.R.R. Christopher, all of the Tolkien scholars, what Amazon is doing to Tolkien's Legendarium, and Mando left. Bye, Mando. Um, so that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Sorry.
And hi, Mando. How are you?
Sorry. I was doing a thing and
And then you press leave studio. That was great. But yeah, so I'm gonna have a YouTube channel get started up soon. Hopefully, I can record some content today, and then get that out. And hopefully, it should be out next week. So be looking forward to that.
yes. Also, I'm not gonna wait till Monday to make this announcement. I know most of you probably don't know the group that I'm about to mention, but that's fine. I was gonna make this announcement Monday or Tuesday, but I figured it's best to do it now and let the questions come in, and then I'll do another announcement on Twitch later. But for many of you, you know that I was a member of Mana Gamers that Roto and Ryan AF, also known as A Force Legacy, are part of. I am now no longer a lead member in that group. Some stuff in my personal life has just come up, and I am taking just some time to focus on my channels and just do some more content for that. So we're all still friends. I still love all of them greatly. They're amazing people, but I am no longer officially a lead member of Mana Gamers. But I'm still in the chats and I'll still hang out and I'm still in the Discord. But just one of the things to make sure to be on the lookout for, my channel, both YouTube and Twitch, there's gonna be some changes happening. I'm super excited. My schedule might change a little bit. We'll see how that goes. But this next week, just expect the unexpected for a lot of things. Because I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants for a little bit. But just know that this week I took off because I just needed a mental break from a lot of things. But come Monday, rubber's gonna hit the ground again. Super excited. Hopefully I'll do more content with this person too.
Hi.
Yes,
It's me.
and a lot of other people. So yeah, for those of you maybe have been wondering or curious, that is what part of the reason why I've been a little bit quieter on just various different things. A lot of stuff going on in the background. Super excited, and but yeah, so Ark, you will be doing your 24-hour stream when? Because I think that's when I clicked the yeet myself out of the stream button.
I will be doing it on July 30th.
Okay.
Somewhere like about 6 a.m., 7 a.m. All depends on if I wake up with my alarm clock.
That is a Saturday, isn't it?
That is a Saturday. And so that means that I'm either going to be live on Twitch when we have this, or I will be on a hiatus for this podcast.
How about we might keep an eye on Twitter and Twitch and all social medias. I might just go ahead and take it might be in the habit of either taking the last or the first Saturday of the month off, because that gives me an opportunity to get some more things done. So keep an eye out, especially if I don't want to interfere in your 24-hour stream at all. So unofficially, we might not have Literary Souls on the 30th. If that being the case, we will have the next one will be an extra long one, and we will cover a lot more topics. So be on the lookout. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of the things. Discord, especially. My DMs are open on Twitter and Discord and Instagram. So Bob said this would be a good, awesome content for the 24-hour stream. So maybe we might.
I mean,
we might.
can.
I'm not sure. I know the 30th. I'm going to have to leave a little bit early. Not for here, but I am going to be going hiking with my friend Ren DuJane. Many of you who are on my Twitch and Discord know that she is one of my good friends. She is a fabulous artist, and she does not post her content enough. So yeah, she's a good friend of mine, and we will be going hiking later that day. So
All right.
you could share co-stream both on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, we will discuss that. We'll see if maybe that's a possibility and all of that good stuff. So yeah, I hope all of you have a fantastic rest of your day, rest of your week. Please keep in mind just social media, or not keep in mind, watch social media. Lots of good stuff's coming around the corner, and super excited for all of it. You all are amazing and awesome. And have a fantastic Saturday, everyone. And let's see if I can do this without yeeting myself out of the broadcast.
Let's see.
Have a good day, you guys. Bye.
Bye.